Howdy, howdy. Hope everyone is doing well. So, before we get started tonight, I just want to real quick ask for thoughts and prayers to all of those in the south and the southeast that's been affected by these storms. Apparently, after they passed through here, they just picked up strength, and especially in some areas, and the devastation is just incredible. I also want to take a moment to kind of give a little bit of a PSA, if you will. So, I talked a little bit about it earlier in the video that I had made as far as, listening to weather and stuff. Now, I understand that the weather forecasters and stuff like that around the nation have hyped things up. They really kind of spin things out of control when it comes to warning about the storms and stuff. And that's a shame, because every time that they really hype something up that nothing happens, that's just one more notch people puts in their belts as to why not to care, why not to listen, why not to heed the warnings. I beg you, especially when it comes to thunderstorm and tornado threats, heed the warnings. I would rather see somebody go through 100 cases to where they got ready for nothing than that one time that they chose not to do anything and lose their own life, lose their loved ones. I mentioned that I had been into storms and stuff for a long time, and I have. I started storm chasing when I started driving. And let me tell you, things were a little bit different back then. There were no cell phones. There was no internet. So I basically watched the radar on TV at home, Mom and Dad's place, and when I thought it was a good time to get, I would jump in my car and I would approach the storm, and like the idiot that I can sometimes be, I would punch directly through the storm and get ahead of it. That was the way I did things. I'd punch through it, get ahead of it, and watch it come back through. Because I was an idiot. Now remember, the moment that I left home, that was the last of my input as to what that storm was doing or anything else. One time, and it wasn't the last time, certainly wasn't the last time, one time, I almost didn't make it. I was punching through a storm. I had a friend with me. And the hail just went berserk. I mean, it was close to baseball size hail. And I noticed hail starting to go sideways. Like as in horizontal sideways. And I knew at that particular point in time that we were literally on the target. Whipped off the road as quick as what I could. Literally slid as close to the front door of this little truck stop rest area that I could. We jumped out. We ran inside. The first thing I did is started screaming to everybody to get in the back, get into the cooler. And there was a fair amount of people in the building. Well, thankfully, nobody kind of stood there with a blank stare or nothing. Everybody got up, and the staff that worked there were absolutely excellent. They caught on immediately and were guiding people where they needed to go. Beautiful. Got everybody into the walk-in cooler they had. And the sound, it was insane. Absolutely insane. And after all the noise and all the craziness calmed down, we opened up the door, and there was a fairly good portion of the roof of the building gone. The outside wall, where people just moments before were enjoying a meal, every seating area was nothing but a mangled mess. I have no doubt that every one of those individuals that were sitting by a window that evening wouldn't have been here now. It's real. And it can really kill you and your loved ones. I joke about I'm from the Midwest. We stand and we challenge it. We dare it. We do, because we're idiots that way. It happens so often. We're just idiots that way. I would not advise anybody to do the same. Not a single soul. The ability that the weather forecasters, meteorologists, to define these storms today is remarkable. The tools that they have in their toolbox are a godsend as far as getting out weather warnings are concerned. You know, look, if you're 2-3 days out and they're saying it's going to be the weather apocalypse coming through, okay, hold it with a grain of salt. But when that day comes, pay attention. And on that day, if they're running around with their hair on fire, take note. Do not ignore it. Do not ignore it. Again, the tools that they now have in their toolbox are incredible. They can get very, very precise as to the locations and everything else when it comes to these tornadoes. So please listen. Even if you're tired of hearing it, even if you're tired of going down to the basement or into your storm shelter or wherever it is that you go, do it anyway. And keep doing it. And stay alive. These storms aren't a joke. If I could go back and redo some of the ignorant things that I did when I was young, like that particular time of punching through the storm, I wouldn't do it. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't punch through the storms like an idiot like I did before. I wouldn't do it. Now, I said that I didn't stop storm chasing after that incident. I didn't. I didn't even stop punching through the storms after that incident. I still storm chased the very same way that I'd always had. So please listen, especially when it comes to the day of the weather event. If they're still freaking out, then you might want to take heed. So aside from that, I got several articles up. Had one other thing, kind of humorous, I wanted to mention, and it actually had reminded me of something that I told y'all I was going to do, and I need to make arrangements to get it done. So I ran across a video. What was the title? And I'm not going to out the channel. I just thought it was funny. It was like, you must really be out of stuff to cover. It was one of the prepping channels. And the video is titled, I Spent the Night in an Underground Bunker. Okay. Must have really been a slow day on that homestead. It reminded me, though, because I told y'all that I needed to go out to the farm, not my farm, but a farm, and get some video of gasifiers not only completed gasifiers just sitting there, 'cause there's a ton of them, but also show you one in action. Now, I can't show you the outside. Everything I show you will have to be inside the barn. I won't be able to show you outside, but that's no big deal. I can still drive the tractor around the inside of the barn. You can see how it works. Definitely not getting any outside views. And if folks would like, I believe there's a couple of rooms that I could take you into the shelter, but I call it a shelter. It's a bunker. But there's only a couple of rooms I could kind of show you a little bit around in, because if I did anywhere else aside from those rooms, people that are local to the area would figure it out. And they may not be able to figure it out exactly where, but they would know what. And that would be enough to start. So I can't give away the location, sorry. But I'll show you a couple of the rooms. Not like the storeroom or nothing like that, but I could show you the security room. That's not a problem. Obviously, I wouldn't have any monitors or anything else turned on, but I can show you that. Show you what the headquarters looks like. That's what I call it. But yeah, most definitely. But staying all night in a bunker, is that a big deal? Just a 40-minute video from that. Must be a slow day on the homestead. That's all I can think. So anyway, it just doesn't end. I know I haven't been here for a little while. Wednesday, Thursday, I wasn't feeling the best. Actually, I felt better Wednesday than I did Thursday. And I know I didn't put anything out or anything like that, that I wasn't going live. I figured people would figure it out. Now, I want to remind folks, when I came back, I said, in fact, I wasn't even going to do it nightly at that time, but I had said there may be times that I don't do a show just because I'm not here under the same agreement that I was. I'm here because I truly do care about you folks. I'm here because I truly do care about the truth. I'm here because this is the most I can do to help as many people as I can. This is it. This is what I've got. I don't have tons of money to throw people. I don't have this or that or the other thing, but I can give you the truth. I can weed through some of the nonsense to try to get to the bottom of things. I'm fairly good at it. So this is what I have to offer. But again, there may be nights that I don't go live, and don't worry. It's all good. Unless you see me not go live for like a week or something, then you might want to check in. But a night or two here or there, don't think nothing of it. I probably just don't feel well or I'm busy doing something. Not a big deal. But I don't have the same commitments to do this nightly like I did before. So I just wanted to remind folks of that. As I was saying, man, this stuff, it just doesn't stop. Oh, wow. Welcome to the club, Serbia. Welcome to the club. Headline just came out. Hang on, I'm working on getting it posted. Serbia protesters claim police used quote-unquote acoustic weapons. You know, the LRAD systems, long-range acoustical devices. Welcome to the club. They've been using them here for like decades at this point. Literally decades. I know 20 years for sure that they've been using them here. First place that I recall ever seeing LRAD device used was Occupy Wall Street. Yep. They were also using, I think it was probably something similar to the Stingray, but I think it was like an earlier version that necessarily wouldn't collect data, but it could most certainly affect your connection with the towers. And that was because, well, Luke Rudkowski of We Are Change and Tim Pool, they both, their phones would just lose connection just at the damnedest times, you know what I mean? And that happened a lot, and I mean a lot. And they worked and tried to find ways to circumvent it, in which they actually came up with a couple of ways that did help dramatically. And I know what they were doing, but I'm not going to go into it here. Still could be a valuable technique, but yeah, they were getting their signals messed with, without a doubt. So welcome to the club, Serbia. Okay. You know, regardless of what you think about electric vehicles, regardless of what you think about Tesla or the Cybertruck or what have you, by the way, I want to make something clear. I don't believe that the photo that I used on the thumbnail is a result of the current vandalization that's going on. I don't think that's current. I think that picture was like January 20th or something, and I think it was before that they actually started doing the vandalizing. So I think it's unrelated to what's going on now. I just wanted to be clear about that. But when I pulled up Cybertruck vandalized in Google to grab an image, that one stood out, and I thought, well, that'll work. But I wanted to be clear. I don't want to mislead anybody. Damaging somebody else's property because you don't like government policy or those making the policies or enforcing the policies, that's not cool. Especially when you spend that kind of money for a vehicle like that. That's not cool. There's all kinds of threats that are going on. There are all kinds of individuals that are getting swatted. I don't know what the left thinks they're going to gain. I can't figure it out. What is it they think that they're going to win? Because it's not support. Not even a little bit. The only ones that support them is the same idiots that don't even know what gender they are. That's it. And they're not going to grow. Because of the way that they're acting. Because of the lies and the misinformation that they keep spreading. And I don't know what to tell them. Stop listening to mainstream media. I don't know what to tell them. Because they are being fed this misinformation. They are being fed lies by the very people that they support. How do you fix that? Well, not quite sure on a long term, but in a short term, you stomp a mud hole in a few people's asses, and that's how you fix it. And I think it's coming to that. I really do think it's coming to that. And to be honest, at this point, I'm a very non-violent. I'm not a big fan of violence. But not afraid of it. I got no problem with being a part of it if I have to be. But it's not something that I long for. It's not at all. Not even, I detest it, to be honest. Part of the reason I think why I detest it so much, because there isn't a single part of my body that wants to cause harm to another human being. There isn't. I would love to get along with everybody. But I'm also a realist, and I know that that's not possible. I also have things in my past, and I'm not a fan of violence. Not a fan of violence. I have a feeling, though, that it's just a matter of time. Something's got to be done. Something's got to be done. But it's pretty bad when even your loudest media supporter comes right out. And I could have gotten the CNN article and had 5 miles worth of text that I wasn't going to read to you anyway. Or I could just put up the RT link that will truncate the story a little bit but still keep the facts in check. RT, Russia Today. Imagine that. Mike, you're a Russian apologist, or you're a whatever. Whatever, man. I just like honest news, factual news, and hands down, I can't find a better news source than RT to give me the truth. I don't know. I can't do nothing about it, man. I'm just a little guy that can barely get 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Nobody wants the truth. They want to be told their warm, fuzzy little lies, and I'm not here for that. Anyway, U.S. Democrats' ratings dropped to an all-time low, says a CNN poll. CNN poll. We're not talking about Fox News. CNN. The Democratic Party's favorability rating among the American public has hit a record low, a new CNN poll suggests. The poll, commissioned by the broadcaster, was conducted by pollster SSRS between March 6th and 9th, sampling opinions of some 1,206 respondents. It indicated the approval rating of the party stands at just 29%. A record low in CNN regular polling carried out since 1992. The Republican Party fares better with its rating currently standing at 36%, the poll shows. The partisan approval differed for the two parties as well, with just 63% of Democrats and Democrat learners, I think that's leaners, speaking favorably of their party, while some 79% of Republicans and Republican-leaning independents approved of the GOP. Independents, however, do not regard either of the parties highly, with their favorability ratings hovering around the 20% mark. Look, first of all, the ideologies of the left? Nah. The vast majority of the country, not having it. Not even a little bit. But then when you throw in all the lies, and I mean clear, bold lies, all the deception, I mean, think about that. 4 years they spent telling us that Biden was not in cognitive decline. 4 years. When every one of us that has 2 brain cells to rub together aren't even sure that the man could tie his own shoes. He couldn't ride a bike. He couldn't walk up steps. Hell, he couldn't walk. And I'm not making fun of him, although I got no problem with that because of what he did to the nation. I normally I'm not a heartless person that could make fun of somebody with dementia. But when you're evil like that, all bets are off. I'm interested and what happens in the coming future. And that's if the current administration actually pursues anything. At this point, I don't know. We got to give it a little more time, in all fairness. But from the lack of what I'm seeing up to this point, and I'm not talking about finished results, right? I'm not talking about every syllable of all of those classified documents being released by now. I'm not even close. But you don't think that they've ran across people at this point that committed crimes at least to the level or to the point that they could indict people? You can indict a ham sandwich. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. And I would have thought by now that there would have been some moves taken. But not yet. Again, we need to give it a little more time. You know, one tactic that's important to remember here is that if there's a big group of people that they plan to get, they're going to sit back and they're going to get their ducks in a row as much as they can so at one time they can get as many of those people. Because if they've got a few people on the list now and they go starting to grab those people, that's going to spook everybody else that's involved and they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone out of the country. So maybe the reason we haven't seen anything yet is because that's exactly the tactic that they're using. I mean, it is a viable and a very much used tactic. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway. Well, let's see. Oh, yeah, this next one, Humdinger. U.S. must return Statue of Liberty to France, says an MEP. French member of the European Parliament, Raphael Glucksmann, has urged the United States to return the Statue of Liberty, claiming the recent policy shifts under President Donald Trump contradict the fundamental values the monument represents. What do you mean? Like freedom? And the order of law? Stuff like that? Because, see, even back in those days when they were still bringing people into Ellis Island, they were vetted. They were registered. And they had to do particular things in order to become a citizen. I believe they got to take a test on the Constitution, if I'm not mistaken. I think that they have to speak at least some level of English, if I'm not mistaken. Those were the policies that we had. So, you want to take the Statue of Liberty back? Because it's easier for people to get here now? It doesn't make any sense. It's like bass backwards. It doesn't make any sense. There again, we are talking about France. I don't know. Hey, if you take back your Statue of Liberty, then please, take back this whole trend, hopefully it's over with, where women were growing armpit hair. Because I'm a woman. Yeah, that's why you arms look like you're a Sasquatch. Nah, please, if you take back the Statue of Liberty, take back the female underarm hair freaks too, okay? Because you gotta. I know during like the 90s, that was a thing then. And I'm pretty sure not real long ago, with all the nonsense that's going on, I think that became a thing again, for at least for a while. Freaking disgusting. I don't know. I'm there again. I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna spray water on my ass in the toilet to clean it either. So I got me. I don't know. Maybe I'm the backwards American. Who knows? Absolutely insane, no. You gotta give us back our statue. Alright. You gonna give us back everything that we funded and helped you with? Okay. I wrote on Facebook, and I really do feel this. I think that we need to close every single base that we have in the EU and the UK. Every last one of them. I think we need to bring our troops home. I think we need to leave NATO, leave the UN, and any and every council and club along that goes along with that. And just tell them good luck. Tell Putin we said hi. I know that's not fair for a lot of good people. But what are we expected to do? You know? The United States is not captain of the world's ship. It is not required to go down with said ship. Although some politicians act like it is. I don't know what the answers are. I really don't. But I know that we can't continue on supporting the nonsense. We just can't. Our country's tapped out financially. And I think it's tapped out in a lot of ways, mentally. I am not really an isolationist, as far as that mindset. But I think we need to strive to get much more closer to that. Not be an isolationist, but we need to take care of ourselves. We need to produce our own goods. We need to produce our own incredible people. And I'm talking about the leaders in tech, in medical, and many other fields that currently we're getting from other countries because our education systems, shocker, suck. Why do you think Trump's got a $5 million gold card immigration deal? Because they know where the talent is. It's not here anymore. It can be here again. It used to be here. But we've outsourced everything important. This is where it is. Speaking of outsourcing and importing, the United States asked the EU for eggs, says media. Here I am pissing France off. How are we going to get French eggs now? We're just screwed, I guess, right? And you... The U.S. Department of Agriculture has reached out to producers in several EU nations to secure additional egg imports amid skyrocketing domestic prices, Reuters reported Friday, citing the Danish Egg Association. The request comes despite recent trade tensions between Washington and Brussels. Yeah, I wonder how that's working out. Over import tariffs imposed by the U.S. administration on various EU goods. USDA representative in Europe reportedly sent formal inquiries in late February to several egg-producing countries, including Denmark, Sweden, and Finland. Well, maybe we didn't even ask France. So, France, continue to screw off. U.S. wholesale egg prices recently hit an all-time high of $8.41 per dozen, marking a surge of over 200% from the previous year, according to Bloomberg. Price hike attributed, all that, the rest of the backstory. So, yeah, here's a thought. Maybe we stop killing the chickens by the millions. You think that might help? I think that might help. Maybe we need to quit doing that. Maybe we need to quit making up these bullshit fake diseases that they're coming down with. Because I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. Not for a second. Howdy, Kenny. I'm not buying it for a second. Don't think it's by accident. Unfortunately, it will take a little bit of time. That's if the nonsense doesn't continue. Hopefully it doesn't. Different administration. It'll take a little time to be able to get those egg prices down, because by the time you get hens to laying from a chick, it takes a little bit of time. Several months. So, we may be getting close to having more eggs, but probably another month or two, and then I expect to see the prices start to drop. So, I don't think that's wishful thinking. I know there are some that claim that the prices have already started making a reprieve. I've seen that headline many times. I am not seeing that. In fact, when I first heard that headline, that's got our address on it, so I'm not going to switch over. The only way I can fix that is to log out, and I don't want to do that. But our eggs are currently the highest right now, ever. $28.96. They were like $27 or $28.72 or something like that before, 74 cents maybe. They were close. It's only like maybe 20 or 22 cents or whatever higher. However, they did go up, and so far they're not showing to come back down. I'm just looking at Walmart. Why? Because I can do that quick and simple right here and get the price at our local store. So, hang in there. Hopefully, some reprieve is on its way when it comes to egg prices. I know we haven't been eating eggs, and I love eggs. I love eggs. So it really sucks. I mean, we would get, I make bread in the bread machine and stuff, but I don't use eggs in that. I really don't use eggs in anything I make. We typically, when we eat eggs, we just eat, eggs. And I make some nice buttery toast to go with it. Oh my God. I need to quit. But, when I make eggs, I make us each like 4 eggs at a time. And to be honest, I'd probably make myself 5 or 6 eggs, but I don't have room in the skillet. I love eggs, like a lot. And I better quit talking about it before I have a dog up my butt. Because I can't fix that problem. Because guess who else loves eggs? Anyway, Grab a couple of vapes here. Damn, I've already been live 41 minutes. That's okay. All the rest of the headlines I have are kind of, I don't have to really go a lot into. And I can kind of buzz through them. First one here, and I'm just doing these by the order they came out. The first few stories I didn't, but these are just in the order they came out. Kiev rejects Putin's offer of mercy for troops in Kursk. So, Russia has asked these troops that they have surrounded to surrender. Donald Trump has even asked Putin. No, I got hiccups. It even asked Putin to spare them. Apparently, they're pretty set on fighting anyway. So, I don't think things are going to go well for those individuals. And it's sad. It's sad. Because literally, all they have to do and have a 90% chance of making it out fine is stop fighting. That's it. Just stop fighting. But they are being coerced so badly. I'm not thinking they're going to fare too well. From my understanding, Russia has them encircled. They can't do nothing. They can't go nowhere. They don't have a supply line. Nothing. I really think that Vladimir Zelensky needs to be brought before a military tribunal. I really do. And I think that he needs to be charged with crimes against humanity. Not necessarily against the Russians, but against his own people. Including the Russian-speaking people in eastern Ukraine, in which they've been committing genocide on for a long time. Now, you don't hear about that on CNN, do you? Probably not. Probably not. Doesn't fit well with their narrative. This is good news. Putin and Trump may agree on Ukraine ceasefire soon, says U.S. envoy. Says the presidents of Russia and the U.S. might have a call this week to agree on a ceasefire in the Ukraine conflict, Steve Witkoff, a special envoy to U.S. President Donald Trump, has said. Speaking on CNN on Sunday, Witkoff said that he had a positive meeting with the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, that lasted between 3 and 4 hours. So, I will jump up to this article here since it's pretty much directly related. Waltz says Ukraine will have to make territorial concessions. And I'm sure. I have no doubt of that. This goes on to say Ukraine should be prepared to give up certain territories as part of any future peace negotiations with Russia, U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has said. Kiev claims sovereignty over Crimea, the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, as well as Kherson and Zaporozhye regions. The territories officially became part of Russia after referendums in 2014 and 2022. Moscow has maintained that their status is non-negotiable. Now, folks, these are people that voted. They had a vote. And they chose to be a part of Russia. Why? Because Russia, regardless of what you think of it, is not as corrupt and evil as the Nazi regime that's in charge in Ukraine. That's another thing that you don't hear CNN talk about. The damnedest stuff. I look at that situation, I'm dumbfounded. Why any American would support Ukraine. I'm absolutely dumbfounded. But I have the same reaction to Christians supporting the nation state of Israel as well. So, completely dumbfounded by that. I mean, you literally have a group of people denying your Savior. Denying your Savior. Right? Was one of the groups of people involved in the crucifixion of your Savior that they deny. But, yeah. Got to do everything to help Israel. It doesn't compute. That's as stupid as the whole 72 gender thing, in my eyes. It really, truly is. You got to be really damn dense not to catch that. And then the best, to top it all off, even in the Bible, God says that He destroys them Himself for good. Annihilates them, eliminates them for good, forever, Himself. And Christians still don't pick up on that. I'm absolutely dumbfounded. And the excuse of, well, they don't teach that in church. This doesn't work because you're not supposed to be reading the Bible in church. You're supposed to be reading the Bible at home. Church has nothing to do with your relationship with the Father. Not a damn thing. You don't even have to go there, ever. The Father wants a personal relationship with you. Wherever it is that you are, however it is that you are, whoever it is that you are. None of that matters. Father's not looking for men in fancy hats standing in front of podiums, acting all astute about the Word of God. Nah, he rejects that. He despises that nonsense. But that's not what the organized religions want you to think. So anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. It's a road that needs to be gone down, but doesn't do anybody any good, because the people who don't listen still ain't going to listen. The people that do listen already know. All right, coffee. Howdy, Steve. We're getting there. I got maybe about another 10 minutes. But, hope you're doing well, brother. Okay. Speaking of, we were just talking about a bunch of crazy nonsense that just doesn't compute, right? Shakespeare Museum to be decolonized over white supremacy claims, says the Telegraph. You know, I was taught that the reason why history is so important is so that we don't keep making the same dumbass mistakes over again. That's a good idea, right? That's a good idea. Think about it, right? If you touched a hot burner with your hand and burned yourself, what good would it do if somebody erased that memory? Let's say you were a child, a little kid when you did it, right? And, you know, some liberal parent today be like, oh no, he can't have or she can't have that memory. You've got to wipe that memory of that unpleasant time from them. And so they do. Not that I know of can do that right now, but let's just pretend, okay? And so then a couple weeks later, the child once again sticks their hand on that hot burner. And it keeps going on and on and on because they aren't allowed to learn from their history because it keeps getting erased or it keeps getting changed. And that is what they are in the process of doing right now. Not just here. This is a global effort. It's to take away everybody's individuality, whether it be in your race, whether it be in your religion, whether it be in your nationality. They're taking away as much individuality as they can. Because once they get everybody sterilized to the same old, what do they call those? I can't remember. Non-player something, I don't know. NPC, non-player character. Once they get everybody sterilized to the same non-player character, right, then they have no resistance. When we're all the same and we all accept the same things, they can do whatever the hell they want. They're in complete control. And that is exactly what they're in the process of doing. That's why they're going and they're destroying statues. That's why they're going and decolonizing the Shakespeare Museum. It needs to be stopped. It needs to be stopped. It's insane. It really, truly is insane. Now, I don't even know if there's anything really white supremacist. I don't know. I don't read Shakespeare, so I couldn't tell you. I do know that there were things in just like the book Tom Sawyer and stuff like that, yeah, today would be considered highly racist. Should we go into that and remove that content? No. No. Absolutely not. I don't know about you, but even if I'm reading something and I'm reading that this person calls that person an N-word, I'm not about to say it, I cringe. Each and every time. Each and every time. Even if one black guy says it to another black guy, I cringe. No joke. It needs to stay in there. People need to feel that cringe. That's important because it's a reminder as to how we don't want to be. Them removing all of this stuff isn't because they're trying to make a better world. They're trying to make a sterile world that they have complete domination and control over. That's no exaggeration. No conspiracy theory, or, well, it is, but it's no crazy conspiracy theory or anything like that. So, hang on. Hang on 1 second. One second. Almost there. Oops, not there. Ah. Hang on. Almost there. Almost there. All right. Okay. Back to your regularly scheduled nightmare, which is my show. Um, I never was, and this has to do with the next article. I never was much of a drinker, and you wouldn't catch me in bars or nightclubs too much. But there was a little bit of a, there was like one summer, we used to have a nightclub not far from here called City Nights, and I used to go to that. I enjoyed going to that. It was kind of close to home. I could take back roads all the way home. You know what I mean? Literally back roads from the place. I never hit a main road from the nightclub all the way to my driveway. Never hit a main road. But a long time ago. Well, that's not true, I guess, because I did have to hit Highway 40 before it was all said and done, at least for a moment. Literally a moment. But anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would go to nightclubs anymore. No, I am seeing way too many of these stories. Nightclub fire kills nearly 60. This happened in Macedonia. So, luckily, we don't see a whole lot of that happening here. Not like in fires. Thankfully, there's codes and stuff that has to be followed. But you can write as many codes as you want. You can do whatever you want. And when there's no way to exit the building, there's no way to exit the building. That could be because it doesn't have enough proper exits, or it could be because there are people that are on the ground that have been stampeded and you can't get past them. So pick your poison, you know? I just don't think I'm hip on going places like this anymore. I won't. I have no interest to go. Me and Jen went to a couple of Blue October concerts and stuff. I'm done. I'm good. I'm not interested anymore. I'm just not. Just not. Too messed up of a world out there, and I don't have that much of a desire to go places like that. I don't. There are a couple of groups I would like to see at least once. Not even big ones, to be honest. The Dead South. Oh, I would love to go see a show from the Dead South in a heartbeat. Not many. Not many. If you don't know who the Dead South is, check them out on YouTube. Absolutely incredible group. And I'm normally not much one for their kind of music, but they do so good at it. So incredibly good. Real quick here, fire and an ensuing stampede at a nightclub in the town of Kokani, North Macedonia, have claimed the lives of at least 59 people and 155 more wounded. Local media quoted Interior Minister Panche, Tashkovsky, or Kovsky, something like that, as saying the blaze was caused by pyrotechnics used at the venue during a concert. So, that's nuts. That is nuts. Is it worth it? I mean, that's your own personal call, but I don't know anymore. I'm just getting old and lame. I mean, it's okay if you call me out. Couple of more articles. It won't take me long to get through them. Iran condemns U.S. strikes on Yemen. I mean, that's a given, right? This next one. And I do got a thing or two to say about this. Houthis threaten attacks on U.S. warships. The U.S. has reportedly launched new airstrikes targeting the Yemeni port city of Hodeidah. Hodeidah? I don't know how it's pronounced. After the leader of the Houthi movement, Sayed Abdul Malik al-Houthi, is all their last names like Houthi? I'm just curious. They might be, I don't know. Delivered a fiery speech condemning the attacks and threatening direct military action against American naval forces. Now, as you can imagine, there have been a bunch of chest poppers all over the interwebs. Oh, what are you going to do? Launch your bottle rockets at us? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Houthis have used one hypersonic missile. Pretty sure they did. One time. Which means they probably have more. They put out a video of a bunch of American flag draped caskets floating in the water. Now, of course, it was an AI video or whatever. I'm sure probably AI. And there are a lot of people, especially news commentators, laughing at them. Let me make this clear. We are not untouchable. Not even a little bit. We cannot defend against these hypersonic weapons. Not even a little bit. People need to take it down a notch on what they think the U.S. is capable of. Not because I don't like the U.S. or don't want the U.S. to be capable, but because it's a damn truth. I don't know. I revert back to what I said way earlier when I said I think we need to close bases, pull our troops. That includes the Middle East, and especially Israel. Let them fend for themselves. If they want to go there and they want to commit genocide, if they want to go there and they want to kill off all the other tribes of the true Israel, which is a group of tribes, not a plot of land, and that's what they are currently doing. They are killing off the other tribes of biblical Israel, so that the tribe of Judah, commonly referred to today as quote-unquote Israel, can say they're the only ones. It's like the movie Highlander, but it's Israeli tribe edition. There can only be one. Nah, I don't think it's wise to support that. Not a bit. Look at that Bible. It tells you what happens to Israel, and it tells you why. And it plainly states God does it himself. Why? Why, you might ask? Because of what they're doing right now that so many Americans and Christians support. What did that Bible tell us to do? To live set apart? Imagine that. Imagine that. Anyway, that's what I got for you tonight. God willing, tomorrow night, I'm back again. And not feeling rough or anything. Feeling fine tonight. So, been having a lot of acid reflux issues. I've been dealing with that a lot, and I don't know why. Even when I stay away from the foods that cause me those issues, I still get those issues. So, oh well. Anyway, I am out of here. I will talk to you all tomorrow evening. I hope you have a good night. Shalom.